Welcome back to Man Across New Horizons. I'm dear darling, and shall we see what's going on a lovely island of Fawnhollow today? Is it sound right? Sounds about right. Yeah, what's been going on recently? Not much, I suppose. Some like updates, some games that come out. That's about it. Genshin, new banners come out with Yoimiya and Sayu and other people on it, and all that good stuff. That means nothing to you unless you play Genshin. Basically, his new character came out. Character I pulled for. Did I win the 50-50? Yes, I did. So yes, I now have a one Yoimiya character on Genshin, which is interesting because she's quite like, I don't know, I'm trying to think how much context to give back behind us, but we'll get into that in a second. Hello everyone, right now on Fawnhollow, it's 3:32 PM on Wednesday, August 11th, 2021. No news to speak of really today, but yeah, context wise, I suppose that comes with any sort of gacha game or any, well, media series, I suppose, in general, with multiple characters. Is some characters are just going to be more popular than other characters for a majority of reasons, and with video games a lot of it comes down to both aesthetic story and gameplay and power levels and that sort of thing. So I'm going media, busy little vitamin D, spending time with, I hope it's, have we got this before? Busy little vitamin D as island life becomes normal life. No, we definitely have that. I remember that starting sentence. Whose office is it? Red? It's red. Yes, what was I saying? Oh yeah, it just happens in any media property that different characters can be more popular than others, and due to a variety of reasons. And interestingly, in Genshin, I'm sorry to talk about Genshin, especially if you're not interested, but I suppose it's going to lead into something which is more applicable to all different types of games. Yoimiya is not going to be a very popular character. Not because like she's aesthetically bad or anything, or compared to other characters or anything. She just, I suppose, has less story impact. She's sort of just there as more of a side character, helping you out and through the story rather than being a very central character. And also, I suppose more importantly, perhaps in this case, is she's actually kind of weak compared to a lot of other, or at least high rarity characters. Which in turn, with the fact that the other is a bit more complicated to explain, but the other characters that she comes with on her banner not being the high value ones, people have been predicting that such Genshin Impact, that's not on the New Horizons art wiki. People are predicting that her banner is going to be very unpopular, especially because she's also sandwiched between two extraordinarily popular characters that are coming out. And perhaps this is why this only really applies to gacha games, if anything, because since you have a limited currency to pull characters in the game. I'm just trying to see, is this one's fake? I don't see an artichoke bud. This one's fake, I think, because it needs to be a white minx, if I remember. That one, this looks fake. Let me have a closer look. Yeah, but she's been sandwiched between two that's fake. Very, very popular characters who are likely to be what people spend their limited currency on. Which, oh yeah, this is why it applies more to gacha games, because you have such a limited currency in fast pace. Okay, so this is the only one which could potentially even be real. Is it real though? It's always genuine. There we go. Let's buy it. That's going to lead to... We don't know yet, obviously, because her banner's just come out. We don't know yet until, like, financial reports come out later whether this banner, whether this character's going to be popular or not, if people try and buy her or not. Oh, I forgot we're meant to buy the Red's other furniture, because they could be different color customizations. Okay, let's do that quickly. And it got me thinking, because as you might know from what I say all the time, I'm not someone who is that considered about power level. Yes, I'd be remiss if I said it doesn't influence me at all. If a character is grossly underpowered, it's going to make me think twice a little bit about putting for them if I have a limited currency. But oftentimes aesthetics can definitely win over for me compared to power levels. Yeah, but for a lot of people, power level very fairly does factor into the characters that they do pull for, the ones that they do choose for that sort of thing. So it's got me thinking about the fact that I feel like I have an unreasonable bias towards unpopular characters. You know, there's something about me which is just like, oh, no one else likes this character. For some reason, in my mind, it's like bonus points added to that character. And I feel like this is something which is a bit more prevalent, perhaps when I was younger, maybe, than when I am now. Maybe it's just some sort of like way when I was a teenager to be like, oh, this was what sets me apart from a pack because I like this when other people don't like this, or something along those sort of lines. I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually quite a common sentiment in perhaps teenagers or even people who, you know, if they have self-awareness about themselves, prefer to feel unique in certain aspects compared to other aspects. And I think most people are kind of similar in that way, aren't they? Like not many people want to feel like they're just forgettable, I suppose, in a sense. But I think most people come to a realization sooner or later that, you know, they are kind of average in some ways, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing, because, you know, it doesn't really matter if you're average compared to the entire world, because that's like 7 billion people, most of which you'll never meet. And doesn't even really matter if you're average compared to like the 50 so people that you'll know very well in your life. Like, it doesn't matter, because if you only know like 50 or so people very well in your life, everyone's going to be unique, and, you know, you're probably just misrepresenting yourself. And if anything, you kind of want to be like average in a lot of situations, right? You know, you don't want to be those outliers who are incredibly rude. You want to be like nice but not too nice. You don't want to be like the rudest person that people know. And then, I mean, it's pretty difficult to be an absolute saint with like a heart of gold and that sort of thing. And most people probably like lie in the middle of a bell curve, which is pretty normal and pretty fine. Hold a minute. Have we been meaning to give presents to Apollo for like the past 2 weeks? I've just realised we don't have Apollo's painting, but we never actually, you know, we haven't actually given him anything for ages. I've actually completely forgot about that entire mechanic. Okay, well, we got fossils to get today, so we can do that now. Yeah, but I wonder how much it applies to things you like and dislike. Like, I know this is like how the whole idea of hipster culture, I suppose, maybe not the idea, but the stereotype of hipster culture is being like people who like things before other people like things. I guess it's kind of different, because that's more like liking things before they become cool, rather than just liking things which aren't popular in the first place. And I'm talking about it in a very sort of narrow scope of, like, I suppose, media properties and characters, and media properties, I suppose, in general. And now I'm talking about it, and it really gets you thinking. It's like, what sort of things do I like which aren't popular? Like, when I play, I feel like the easy example for me is like these idle anime games I play with. There's tons of characters represented of them. Are the characters I like, are they popular ones? Are they not so popular ones? I feel like on the whole they're somewhat popular ones. It's more like what is like in the top 5 of ones I like. My favourite ones are somewhat popular ones, and there's also like one non-popular one thrown in there. And then, but my favourite characters tend to never be the fan favourites, but like top favourite ones that people have. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm trying to think. Okay, so for example, let's pick out some popular games, and that, well, maybe not popular games that I played, and which ones are my favourite. Okay, so Animal Crossing, good one to start. My favourite villager, Lily. I think Lily's reasonably popular, certainly. Like probably within the top sort of 20%, I guess, of popularity throughout villages, but she's not like top 5% or anything. She's no like Raymond, well, I mean, no one's like Raymond, but she's no like Raymond, Fauna, Audie. Who else is probably up there? Marshall? There's definitely a cat villager who's up and who's not Raymond. Rosie, I think, is probably quite popular as well. I don't know. I don't really know who the popular characters are anymore in Animal Crossing, but things like that. Like, I feel like that's a good representation. I feel like Lily's popularity is a little bit higher than what I would consider my usual average for popularity. Oh yeah, I forgot a range yesterday. We had to clear up our flowers as well for popular flowers. But okay, what about NPCs? Who's my favourite NPC? Pelly and Phyllis. How popular are they? Probably not that popular. I'd imagine popular NPCs would probably go Isabel, Tom Nook, Blathers. Oh no, you know what? Celeste might be my most favourite NPC. It used to be Pelly and Phyllis, but maybe it's now Celeste. I don't know how popular Celeste is, but still. That's just like where my favourite things tend to land. They tend to land within the top 30% of popularity, but they don't go any higher than that normally. And maybe that's some sort of compromise, because, I mean, this is not to dissuade against people liking popular things or people not liking popular things. Popular characters are popular for reasons, like maybe they have the most interesting aesthetic design, they have the most story importance and most dynamic personality, perhaps they're just attractive or something like that, you know? And there could be a whole swath of different reasons which could contribute to a character's popularity, and I'm not trying to dissuade that and be like, oh, this is wrong, why would you, if you like a popular character, you're stupid or something. That obviously that's just false and very gatekeeping and needlessly combative. But But I'm trying to think of like maybe this is like my own sort of mini compromise where I've not committed fully to like liking the unpopular characters, such that like I'll be like, oh, this character, the least popular character, like I don't know, my favorite character is like who's that? Who's that character which people hate about Blue Hamster in Animal Crossing? Is like, this is my favourite villager, just because people hate him. I haven't gone that far, but I don't want to go for the super popular characters. Be like, oh, Bunny, that's who I was thinking of. Oh, my favourite character is Bunny. Oh, me too, like that sort of thing. Like maybe subconsciously, I'm just like, I want to sort of separate myself from the crowd a little bit, you know? I don't know how much of this is true or not. I'm just sort of, do we end up here? I'm just completely winging exactly what I'm saying, but we have way too many dinosaur things. Let's have the cheaper ones. Probably. Like, I wonder if there's any truth to that or not. It feels like there definitely should be, you know? It feels like there's a little inkling of that somewhere in there. Where I'm trying to find a balance between the things I do like the most and things I don't like. Okay, so let's try and apply the start of the video games we played. Undertale, who's my favourite character? Toriel, who's my second favourite? Asgore. Toriel and Asgore very close, which is why I bring up both of them. Who's the most popular character in Undertale? Probably Sans? And then Papyrus is my guess. I think Toriel's up there, but I feel like Toriel is not so popular for some people because she's like too soft, perhaps. And perhaps if you look too much into personality, you see she's actually got quite a few faults going on for her. And people don't really like Asgore, mainly because he is presented, I suppose, as the villain sort of to begin with, and also you don't really interact with him as much as you do the other characters. Well, Sans is a very charming, unique personality, and he plays around with much higher level concepts of like metagaming and that sort of thing. So spoilers for Undertale if you haven't played like a 10-year-old game at this point. I don't think it's 10 years old, but still. It must be like 6 years old or something. If you haven't played with that sort of game. Hold on. Let's see how old Undertale is. You know, it might nearly be 10 years. Because didn't it come out in 2012? Undertale. That's what my brain's telling me. 2015. Never mind. I was way out. 6 years old. I was right. Yeah, and that's why Sanders is kind of a fan favourite, I suppose. I feel like Toriel is still reasonably popular. Like, I feel like, I don't know who's at least popular out of the main cast. Probably Alphys is got to be my guess, but I don't know if that's true or not. So, you know, holds true again. Okay, Night in the Woods. Who's my favourite character? B. Okay, this one I think B probably is the most popular character in Night in the Woods, but I'm not. It's either B or Greg. They're both very popular. So maybe that, but to be fair, there's only like 5 main characters, maybe 6 if you want to include Laurie as well in Night in the Woods, so maybe that's not such good representation. What other things? How about a much more wide-ranging appeal one? League of Legends. Who's my favourite character? I like Kindred aesthetically the most. I feel like that's not a contentious opinion. But I like Anivia, Twitch, and Cogmore gameplay wise a lot. I also like Yumi quite a lot as well. Are they most popular characters? No, those most popular characters go to like Yasuo, Riven, Dead probably. Bigger player bases. But to be fair, League player base is quite big, and there's a lot of different metrics you can judge it on, because rather than just basing characters based off of like their personality and their appeal necessarily, League of Legends gameplay is probably the most triumphant, but the biggest factor into influencing how much people like a champion or that sort of thing, seeing as, you know, you play as the champion. I don't think you can get any more clear than that, to be honest. So perhaps that's sort of like a iffy thing, but you know, the fact that Yumi I don't think is very popular gameplay wise, but I really like her a lot because it plays well into what I like from games, which is just empowering other people to feel like absolute unkillable, like wrecking machines and that sort of thing. But she's probably not so popular for other people because a lot of people find her gameplay boring, which is fair, I think. It's very different and not like flashy, super flashy or anything, and very team dependent. But is she the least popular champion? No, not by a long shot, to be honest. She's actually still a reasonably popular champion, I'd imagine. She's just, you know, controversial, I suppose, would be the best word to use. Cogmore, I guess, is not very popular in any aspect, so maybe that's me just sort of like ticking the quota. In the top 5, got to have one not popular champion. I don't know how popular Twitch is. Nivea is okayly popular, I think. So really that was not very enlightening at all. This is kind of a thing where you need to compare against actual statistics of popularity of these champions and that sort of things. But to be fair, I was thinking more of like the fandom side of games, like things like Undertale, like Homestuck. Who's my favourite character in Homestuck? Aradia. How popular is Aradia? Is she the most popular? I don't know, you know, but this is probably something you can find out. Hold on. Homestuck, and let's not go into the whole mess that Homestuck is right now, you know. If you want to do that, go search Sarah Z. Sarah Z. She's got much better coverage of basically what happens, seeing as she was kind of a mix of it. Okay, favourite character results. I bet Vriska's going to be the most popular, followed by, let me think, Dave and Rose. Roxy won first place, fair enough. Roxy, only for the kids. Guardians and parents. Terezi's a oh, of course, I forgot about Terezi and Carcat. They're so popular, of course. In 5th place, Aurelia. There you go, you know. It's matching myself again entirely, which is, you know, I will like things that sit around the 33% percentile of popularity, the top 33 percentile, let's not get us confused. What says it exactly? Okay, who's my favourite kid? I don't know who my favourite kid is. I don't think I have a favourite kid. Jade, I guess? Jade is 5th. That's about halfway, you know? So maybe it's more... This is more enlightening to the fact that the things which make a character popular generally are not necessarily the things which I find most appealing in characters, which is fair, you know? A lot of the times, my favourite characters tend to be very flawed characters, if I can help it. That's not always the case, but I like characters with flaws, as most people do, but, like, I don't mind them if they got, like, really... I'm not going to say, like, really bad flaws, but, because, you know, I mean, I suppose a good example is Vriska. She was kind of like a villain-ish throughout a lot of Pokemon Stuck, and she was my favourite for a while until, you know, eventually, at some point, I think she became a little bit unredeemable, and I was like, okay, you know, I kind of like Aurelia a bit more now. But that's not... But this is probably, like, the most obtuse video anyone could watch. There's so many references to other sort of video games and that sort of thing, which is very difficult for people to understand if you haven't played any of them. So I apologise. But, you know, it's quite hard to talk about this sort of topic without other sort of things going on. Without talking about other media properties, I suppose. Guardians... Who cares about Guardians? Cherubs? Who cares? Okay, what other, like, popular media properties are there, which I've seen and have a favourite character from? Okay, let's think. Why don't you just search popular character? And we'll just go on Google Images and we'll take some media properties from there. Smash Bros, who's the most popular character there? Okay, well that kind of doesn't count because that's more influenced by the video game I like, so Isabel's my favourite character to play in those sort of crossover games, like that and Mario Kart. So I don't know if that really makes sense, but let's see, popular characters. Wolf Among Us, haven't played that, so probably can't do that. Anime. Okay, so what sort of anime? Favourite Pokemon? You know, what's my favourite Pokemon? Frostas. Has someone done like a comprehensive list of favourite Pokemon popularity? So, someone's probably done some sort of huge list of all the Pokemon and the popularity. 2020 Google Pokemon of the Year voting event. Top 5. So it looks like, what's this? Umbreon? Charizard at 4. Mimikyu at 3. Lucario at 2. Greninja at 1. Really? Pikachu's not at 1. Do you have all of them? Sylveon, Garchomp. My favourite is Frostas. So we're just going to keep scrolling, I guess, till we find Frostas. In perhaps the least efficient way possible. Pikachu down here at 19. I guess Pikachu's just more widely recognised and particularly popular. Are there any other flowers we need to clear up? I guess this flower. I don't think there's any other flower locations we need to be concerned with. Corviknight. Okay, oh, this only goes up top 30. Top 25. Okay, how do we find all of them? All Pokemon. Top 30. Dendine? That can't be right. It's the most popular. All. What if we search all Pokemon? All Pokemon ranked popularity. Something like that. Most popular Pokemon in every country. Sure. Pokemon around the world. That's not quite what I want. Pokemon around the world ranked. Here we go. Is this it? Oh, this is only the original 151. Okay, well, in which case my favourite is Lapras. Lapras is very popular, to be fair, from the original Gen 1, so let's not... So I guess that doesn't really fit the narrative, you know? Thus, I'm going to ignore it like most other people do when they find something which doesn't fit their narrative. I'm going to ignore it in favour of evidence which does. You might say that's cognitive bias, and I say, you're right. What's my second favourite Pokemon in Gen 1? I'm just gonna look at a list and what about Eevees maybe? Nidoqueen? Do you like Nidoqueen? Dragonair? Do you like Dragonair? I like elegant Pokemon generally, so that's kind of why my biases tend to go that way. Okay, perhaps Pokemon's a bit too big to really say, but I don't know. It feels like a paradox, doesn't it? That an unpopular character will gain bonus points. Oh gosh, for being unpopular. So basically, does that mean the most unpopular characters are not actually the most unpopular characters? You know what I mean? Like, to use Animal Crossing as an example, Rodney, that's his name. That's a character that people hate in Animal Crossing. There's a few others that people hate, like Beardo, Graham, I think. I don't think Rodney is the least popular villager in Animal Crossing. Now, the results might be different depending on how you conduct this experiment. I think there's going to be a substituent of people who would, like, in a popularity contest of, like, vote for your favourite villager. Some people will vote for Rodney just because other people don't like him, and that sort of thing. He's not popular. I think what will end up happening is the least popular character is going to be some random character, some random villager who's not that aesthetically pleasing, but no one thinks about. Someone like, I don't know, like Gigi or something, that frog. Like, you know, do I make sense? I'm just trying to say that basically there's people out there who root for the underdog, don't they? And thus basically save an unpopular character from being the least popular character, because something about being unpopular which has appeal. And I suppose it's the fact that no one else likes them. And for some reasons, for some cases it matters a lot. Like, to give you an example, in these like games I play, which is the gacha games, events which are held with often one character being like the titular character for that event. Like, the event is based around them. For popular characters, those events are very competitive. It's very hard to get a high ranking because so many people are playing for them. But for less popular characters, it's much more relaxed because most people aren't like being competitive for them. So in some cases, it's actually really nice to have an unpopular character be your favourite character, because then when it comes to these events, when it comes to these sort of things where you want to get like better prizes for your favourite character, it's a lot easier to get them because there's less competition. On the other hand, if your character is less popular, they're going to get less representation in the media, not in like the news media, but like the media property of your choice. They're going to get less representation and less, you know, content for them, I suppose, in the first place. For example, League of Legends. Which champions get skins? Popular champions tend to get more skins because they make the most money. And that's, you know, at the end of the day, video games are a business in the end, even if it's well, especially AAA titles, I suppose, are a business in the end. And they're going to make products and things for characters who are the most popular, which is why, you know, Yasuo, Kali, Riven, these sort of characters, and Ari, they get tons and tons of skins because they're so popular, while other characters who are like, you know, really unpopular, like Ornn and Ivan, don't get any, because despite the fact that, you know, you might have them as your favourite character, and, you know, I guess less people are likely to pick them, perhaps in the game, so you can always play them most of the time, is they're not going to get skins or content for them because not many people play them. You know, there's like ups and downs, which is always the case, and depending on who you are, it's depending on what you consider worth it as up and down, you know? I don't really know where I was going with this. This is not like some grander philosophy that I'm trying to churn out here or anything. It's just sort of things I've been thinking about. And then now is sort of a time where you reflect on yourself. How popular does a character need to be before you start either disliking them more or liking them more? Do you like a character more because they're popular? You have more people to talk about that character with, more people to like share in your fan base, and you feel like you're part of a community. Do you start to dislike a character more when they're more popular because you're like, oh, everyone else likes them too? No, we're not. We're never going to get rid of sheesh or based, okay? But perhaps the greatest things I've ever come up with. Do you start to dislike a character more if they become popular because you're like, oh, everyone likes this character, you know? I want to... It might not even be in the sense, I don't want to like this character because I want to be different. It could just be, you know, you can't stand the fans of the other character or something like that, so you're just like, it's really pissing me off, this character. I don't know, you know? It's a complicated issue, and I wonder if this is something that some people have researched into. I don't even know how you'd research this. But it reminds me of something I read ages ago, which I really wish I could find again, but I have no idea. But it was I don't know what they called it. They called it like the Mario effect or something. Is where the most popular titular character for a game is not the most popular character. And case in point, Mario, the most well-known character from the Mario series, in fact the entire series is named after him. So many people know him, so popular. He's the cover guy, I suppose, of like every Mario video game out there, bar like a handful. Yet, when's the last time you remember someone playing as Mario in Mario Kart or something? Most people don't play as Mario. It's something about the generic face character of a media property, which I suppose, how I'd phrase it is, they're often quite bland because they're meant to be, they're the face of the entire franchise. They need to be quite appealing to everyone and that sort of thing, in which case they have basically all their edges are standard out compared to other characters, but they tend to be kind of boring. And thus, you basically never see anyone play Mario in either Smash Bros or like Mario Kart. I mean, definitely exceptions, like I had a friend who always used to play Mario, but still. And I don't even know if that holds true or not, because I can never find that any discussion about that sort of thing again. But I feel like it makes sense to me, just anecdotally, which I know is a dangerous thing to really draw any conclusions about, and as a statistician, using anecdotal evidence is not evidence in my mind, but doesn't it seem kind of reasonable? Like, I very rarely see people play as Mario. People always go for something different. It's like, oh, I don't want to play Mario. I want to play Luigi. He's just like a bit more of an interesting Mario, isn't it? I want to play Bowser. I want to play, maybe not play Peach. I want to play Daisy. I'll play Rosalina, that sort of thing. Something about sidestepping the main character in favour for other characters. And I think it is a twofold thing, is, you know, people tend to be dissuaded from the main character just to be a little bit more interesting, but also the main characters have all their edges sanded down. Like Mario, like, I don't know what personality traits Mario's got. He's got like heroic, he wants to save people, that's about it, but there's not much going on. But you got Wario, he's like a bad guy, he's a villain, he's devious, he's greedy, that sort of thing. He's quite comedic. Luigi, he's quite cowardly, that sort of thing. He's, well, surprisingly brave for when he can be, but you know, still scared out of all his wits constantly, and that sort of thing. You know, it's a lot easier to extract your like for a character if they have more of a personality, and I think that's probably the main reason. I don't think that's really to do with popularity. It's more like of a cause and effect rather than effect and cause. So yeah, I don't really know where I was going with this. Isn't that interesting? Isn't it weird to think about? Doesn't that seem peculiar? Does that something little more? I don't know how the song goes. Scar by, can't remember. I was saying Natalie Imbruglia, but that's not right. She sings Torn, doesn't she? Yeah. I don't know, I just find that weird. Well, not weird, I find it interesting. And I wonder if that's the name of an actual effect, which hopefully I did not just make up in my head or something. It feels like it's legitimate, doesn't it? You know? The main character is not often the most popular character. Like, who is someone's favourite Pokemon? Is it Pikachu? I feel like if there's someone who doesn't play Pokemon, there's a reasonable chance it's Pikachu. Because, you know, that's probably one of these Pokemon they even know they don't have a big choice. But for people who actually play Pokemon, I feel like it's going to be extraordinarily rare that their favourite Pokemon is Pikachu. And even anecdotally, I don't think that's the case, you know? So my friend's favourite Pokemon, Machamp. I think that's Ali's favourite Pokemon. I actually don't know anyone else's, but Mudkip is Matt's, I think. And mine, Frostas. Nothing even close to Pikachu. And there's a lot of interest there, but Pikachu, you know, just gets all the attention. So it's more like, I don't have anything against Pikachu. Like, I have a 3DS Pikachu, for Pete's sake. Ali's got the Pikachu Switch and that sort of thing. We don't dislike Pikachu, but we don't love Pikachu. Like, we have an appeal for other characters. Isn't it? Do you think it's more like Pikachu and Mario are sort of like the gateway into the franchises? So they're the ones you're exposed to first, but once you're exposed to the entire franchise, you then branch off into ones which are much more specific to your appeals and that sort of thing. Probably. I don't know. Someone should do research. Someone probably has done research into this. Someone should link me into the study which is done about this sort of thing. But anyway, yeah, no, it's just an interesting thing to think about. But anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord. Follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we can see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now. Just food for thought, isn't it? Food for thought.